Two big guys going at it, boy.
This is a big guy battle. Wow.
Well, an advantage for the Ranger. Renke and no helmet for Johnston, so those punches are going to hurt a little more when they land.
Let them go. One guy 6'7". How big's Johnston? 6'5".
No, I think he's 6'7" also. That's pretty good size.
Let's go! Wait, wrong side. That guy right there, that's Chris Kotsopoulos, Paulie D. Welcome back to Instigators Hockey Show. Got a lot to do. I actually have to do some promoting right now.
Promoting?
I got to do some promoting. I didn't even tell you before because we were kind of running out of time, but Capo Rise to Power, the TV series that I am in, is going to break early, mid-June, mid to late June, early July. I need everyone's support. It was picked up by Adler Films actually now, and pretty exciting. So it's a mafia TV series with a little bit of magic in it. There's a little bit of just everything. It's really cool. I really can't tell you much, but I do play a hitman in it. And I'm coming for Shitanetti is where I'm coming.
There you go.
Someone's gonna fucking shoot his brains in. So I'm pretty excited. So when I get all the information and I can pass it on, gonna need everyone's support. And I got cast into the season 2, yeah. And so we'll go from there. I'm pretty excited about it. So
Paulie's going to be a movie star.
So, it's a TV series, and they might turn it into a movie. So we'll see what happens. Pretty excited. Very excited about this. So make sure you check it out. It's called Capo Rise to Power. I actually have a little work to do. I'm going to put it in here. I gotta finish some of my IMDb stuff so people could see it, and pretty cool. So that's that for that. Now let's talk hockey. Actually, and I will say there's an undertone in this with oddly enough the New York Islanders. So
is there any woke shit in it?
Oh, it's definitely not woke, my man.
Thank you very much. Finally. I can actually watch something without changing it. Okay, cool.
It's dirty. It's ugly.
Perfect.
There's a lot of drinking. There's a lot of yelling. There's a lot of cussing. There's a lot of blood. And I had a lot of fun. So you're going to love it. Everyone's going to love it. It's called Capo Rise to Power. I'm still finishing some things. So as it grows and it updates, I'm going to have some more pictures on there and stuff like that. So that's cool. Moving forward, we got a lot to talk about in hockey. And honestly, I don't know if we're going to get to it all, but I'm going to try.
At least we got a lot of shit to try to get to. How's that?
Yeah. I want to start with I'll start with the controversial, crazy stuff that I have here, and I've been kind of following this for a while because Kotze knows how I love to instigate this shit. But the Phoenix Coyotes or the Arizona Coyotes, it's funny because Beth kind of helped me today, but I've been watching it. So many different headlines. Coyotes announced community to win state land auction. And then it's Arizona Coyotes to Salt Lake City relocation.
Yeah.
Then it's Scottsdale's mayor opposes potential Coyotes arena.
The mayor put a thumbs down to that.
So many different articles but yet nobody's talking about it, and that's what we do here. Why isn't the NHL? Why isn't Gary Bettman being asked the hard questions? Who's financing the Coyotes? They play in a subpar arena. What's it, a college arena?
Yeah, it's a college arena that holds like 4,500.
Not even 5,000 people. This is a professional hockey club, everyone.
Yeah.
It's the NHL. Is nobody asking the hard question?
Well, the hard question to me is, why can't you admit made a mistake, Gary? Like that, it's pretty simple. Gary, was it a mistake to put a team in Phoenix? That's the question that should be asked.
It was. Absolutely.
And obviously nobody's got the balls to do it, to get them on record. Was it a mistake? I mean, Gary's made some pretty good moves with like Seattle and other places, in his
Vegas,
in his kingdom of being a president of the NHL, but he blew it with Phoenix.
Agreed.
And I think he was there for the Atlanta one, which they're trying to revive again too, which is a pile of shit. But you got teams, you got places like, and I'll say it, Hamilton, Ontario. You got a place in Quebec City, that want teams.
Yeah.
Let's see, north of the border, what is the number one sport? Oh, that's right. It's a thing with a little, black thing that they hack around up in Canada. It's called hockey, Gary. You can't put teams in the desert. Okay? You can't put hockey teams in the desert. Plain and simple.
Wait a minute.
What do you got? You got something to hide there? A hockey puck?
No, where's the puck you gave me? I'm looking at
Would you give it away already?
I know where it is. I got it. It's on the top shelf. It's on the top shelf. It's on the top shelf where it belongs.
Well, it's like the former general manager. I'm going to bring it up again, of the Orlando Magic basketball team. When Gary left basketball to become the NHL head honcho, he sent him a hockey puck, and he said Gary's still trying to open it up. So
I remember that.
Remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, you got. Oh, there you go.
That's the puck you want, big boy. Look at that.
I might have one of those.
Where
are you, Barry?
Barry,
anyhow, that's the crunch of it all, Paulie, right there. Like, I read it today too. I've been reading for a couple of days about now they're going to go to Salt Lake City. Now, Salt Lake City, believe it or not, has a bit of a history in the minor leagues. The Central Hockey League played there, and people want to go look that up for a while. So they do have some kind of history there in Salt Lake City. Now, can they support an 18,000 jam-packed arena with fans?
Maybe.
And maybe not.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the population is in Salt Lake or in Utah in general, but I don't know. The Phoenix experiment is now what, 13, 15 years old, 10 years old?
And it's got this.
Fucking failed.
I will never, ever, ever blame anything to do with the coaches that went there, the assistant coaches, the players that have played there, any of them people. Okay, and I won't even blame all the management, all the people that work for the team. The blame has to go on Gary Bettman on why this thing is still a pain in the ass for the NHL.
Wasn't Wayne Gretzky the coach of the Phoenix Coyotes?
If you can't pack the building with Wayne Gretzky, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can't get a brand new arena with Wayne Gretzky there,
And Shane Doan's kids there, right? Shane
Yeah,
knows
he's,
kids.
he's actually playing. He's playing pretty good too for them. I mean, their team's on the uprise. Don't get me wrong. Their team's not going to be cellar dwellers forever. They're probably going to be pretty good in the next year or two.
Yeah, probably too. But
playing in a college arena for 3 years in a row is just, it's got to be like, you got to like be dragging yourself to the rink to play that night as a player.
Yeah, that's got to suck as a player.
Absolutely.
And it can't even pack out the 4,800 people.
Oh, no, relax now. There's nights where they don't. I'll admit that. But did you hear what the prices were going for the Ranger game there a couple of weeks ago?
I'm sure they were big bucks.
Right, $500 a ticket.
Yeah. Did you see how they were chanting "Let's go Rangers"?
Yeah, the game before that and the game after that, you get tickets for like $30-$40.
Remember what was it? 2 hot dogs, 2 sodas, 2.
That was Florida years ago. Remember?
That was Tampa Bay. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember that watching the Florida Panthers broadcast. This is like probably 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Come, family of 4, we'll feed you. We'll give you free parking, and it was like $69.99 or something like that.
We'll shuttle you to the game.
And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I was watching highlights of the Florida game the other night.
All right.
The building wasn't full.
Yeah.
What's going on there? You got one of the best teams in the league, and the building wasn't full for Ottawa.
Yeah.
Anyhow, enough on relocation and all that crap. That's scary.
My whole point of bringing it up is that this has been a debacle since the onset. We've been talking about it for 10 years.
You don't know. I think you and I, we talked about it before we started doing this stuff. You and I, you're right.
Back in the Blog Talk show.
Yeah.
Way before the podcast.
Back when I had the Alexander Graham Bell phone in my head. Hey, Paulie.
Yeah, wow. Yep. We used to do a radio show using the computer's software through the telephone. That's a true story.
Yeah, we interviewed a lot of people back then, too.
We did. Blaine Stoughton.
Everybody. Vickers, Nicky Mattino, Duguay, Greshner.
Yep.
Kurt Walker. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
We had a lot of guys on.
Yeah. Well, I was reading, too. We had articles in the Globe and Mail, Puck Life magazine.
Yeah.
Billy Pepitone did a piece on
where's he gone?
Billy Pepitone, I still keep in contact with him.
I have no contact with him whatsoever.
He's a retired police captain, I believe. And I believe he is holding some type of political office in like Brooklyn or something.
Well, I guess that's probably why he doesn't want to talk to me.
But man, he used to write some really great articles. I actually have a bunch of them. So talk about the years. Kotze, I mean, I was looking back, man. It's 8 years ago you took me to the Frozen Four.
Yeah.
That's 8 years ago. We've been doing a show for 17 years.
We're
you
old.
Believe that?
We're old. Yeah, I believe it because, again, life has a unique way of slowing you down at the beginning of your life and then speeding up in the middle to the end of your life. And that's all what it's about, how fast it's gone. 17 years.
Fucking nuts.
Hopefully we'll be able to do it for another 17. How's that?
It sounds good to me, man.
So what do we got next topic-wise here? Let's get right into that Neanderthal on TNT there. Flat face, pan-fried face. Paul Bitchnetti or whatever his name is. He's out tweeting again last night about the Ranger game. Going after the Rangers and the Ranger fans because of all complaining about the hits in the game last night, on Zibanejad, and then he really didn't talk about the one about Trocheck getting drilled from behind. but he's calling Ranger fans frauds and all this shit again. Opening his big yap. If this Nettie, like, go fuck yourself, okay? Like, really, they must have dropped you on your face when you were born, because your face looks like it hits a Mack truck every morning, and you want to tell the Ranger fans to smoke rocks? You would know everything about rocks. You get rocks in your head. You dumb fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fucking tired of this guy. TNT, you should be embarrassed that you're still using this clown.
Amen. That's the truth.
You should be embarrassed you're using this clown. But I did notice, okay, now that we're on this clown's case here, did you see the Ranger, obviously the big game against Jersey, where the big fights and everything, that we were going to do a show, but I was busy. Did you notice the bitch Nettie wasn't there that night? How come? You think TNT might be learning a little bit about keeping them off the air when the Rangers are playing? You know what I mean? I listen, I get the fact that each person that follows hockey has a right to hate a team. I get the fact that each person watching has a right to hate a player. It's called fandom. But when you're a national cross-country in-studio host or whatever, you gotta play even. You gotta play. You can't show any dislike. And this clown continues to do it. Him and his goofy partner Pink Whitney or whatever his name is. And I frankly don't give a fuck if they hear about this one again. You don't like it? Come see me.
Amen.
That's all there is to it. Come see me.
Yeah.
I'm here still.
Yeah, I got
this guy just thrashing the Ranger fans and all that crap. He's just such a pain in the ass. Again, like I said, frying pan face. Look at him. He's got a face on him like somebody hit him with a frying pan.
I mean,
I'm tired of him.
At the end of the fucking day, the guy is just he's just a wad of shit.
He is.
And honestly,
he's like that, Paulie. He's the guy that nobody wanted to play with growing up.
Yeah.
He's that guy. And that's why he acts out like he does. That's why he acts like a goof on the set. That's
exactly.
That's like a clown jester, in the court of King Henry VIII. That's why he acts out like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a fucking turd. He's not even worth talking about. I'm so over him.
I promised everybody last time that you went off on him, we're not going to talk about him again. We will not for sure. I'm making this promise. Unless he opens his mouth towards me, then we'll do it. Yeah. We'll go at him again. But other than that, we're not bringing that guy's fucking name on this show ever again. Okay?
I'd like to.
I need some medicine now.
Oh, man. So, anyhow.
Well, we might as well let's get right into that. I know it's Rangers stuff later, but let's get into those hits last night, okay?
Oh, you're going to do that now, eh?
I'm going to do it right now because I'm into it. It's in my mind. Okay, Zibanejad's hit. That's on Zibanejad. Sorry, Ranger fans. Don't make any excuses for him. As a player, when you're going to the bench, you should be looking at the bench, and the player on the bench is coming on for you should be looking at you. Why you're looking down the ice at your goaltender is your fucking mistake, plain and simple. Pelech didn't do anything wrong. Now, did he brace for it? Of course he's going to brace for it. I don't want to get knocked down because some guy's blind. That's your fault, Zibanejad. Plain and simple. Yeah. I don't agree with Coach Lavi talking about it was a vicious shot to the head with an elbow. Yeah, it was a shot to the head, but Zibanejad was the one that was doing it. Plain and simple on that
one. I couldn't agree more. Agree more.
Next one.
Well, I want to talk about that for a second, too.
All right, go ahead.
I watched that replay, slow motion, backed it up. I probably watched it, I swear to God, 40 times. And during the game, I watched it. And I was like, and even Sam and Joe were like, it was accidental. Pelech didn't, is it Pelech? He didn't move his hands. He didn't move his feet. He didn't move his head. He didn't do anything. Like you said, what the fuck is Zibanejad doing? How do you're moving How are you not paying attention to where they're both looking down at the play. How does he not even peripherally see something coming at, like, I didn't get it. I'm sorry, Ranger fans. I love the Rangers. And if it was a bad hit, or if the guy threw his fucking elbow out, if he stepped in front of him, if he threw a knee, any of those things, I'd be the first one to say, fuck it, it was malicious, blah, blah, blah. I didn't see any malicious intent. I didn't see any intent at all, to be honest.
No, there wasn't any, because
I feel like honestly, the onus, like Kotze said, really is on Zibanejad. Like,
listen. I talked to a former teammate today about it, and we both agreed. When you're going off the ice, you want off the ice. In other words, you want to change. Why are you not looking towards the bench or where you're actually going? To the bench instead of looking down here while you're going this way. Now, again, I'm pretty sure Pelech, I played the game long enough, he can feel him coming. So he probably braced a little bit, just tightened up a little bit, but that ain't his fault. That's Zibanejad's fault the whole way for not keeping an eye on what he was planning to do. Forget about the play. You're going off the ice. So anybody wants to complain about that hit, sorry, you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't feel there was any intent there. I agree 100%.
We'll go to one that was a little bit, and I'm not going to go to the one that we're talking about. You think I'm going to talk about? I'm talking about VC getting capped on the knee there.
Oh, by the goaltender.
By Varlamov. And the video on my big 85-inch screen, when it happened on the replay, the referee had full view of it. You could see him in the corner. There was no obstruction. It was just the goaltender, VC, and the referee in the corner. And he just stood there with his hands like this. No call. You know what I mean? That was a blatant move by Varlamov. Okay? Should have been called. But it wasn't. Now I get it. Okay. Throughout a game, you're going to see a whole bunch of that stuff. Now we get to the big daddy. Rangers pull the goalie. They're buzzing around. There's 16, 18, 20 seconds left when Trocheck gets the puck. His back completely facing his own end. And Dobson comes in full speed and cross-checks him. Now, Trocheck was smart enough to get his hands up in time, but that doesn't matter. In my day, that was a regular, everyday thing where you didn't get a penalty. But by today's standards and rules, you see the letters, you hit him from behind, guess what? That's a penalty. What the fuck was Sutherland thinking? First of all, did you see Sutherland standing there with all the Giants on the ice? Maybe he couldn't see over anybody. He's so fucking short.
Yeah.
I mean, that was that. I mean, it should have been called.
I don't disagree.
Should have been called. And you know what? I also wrote last night about it. I said, it might not have mattered. It might not have mattered. Think about it. It's only going to be about 16, 15 seconds left anyways. But it should have been called. It was pretty blatant. I mean, what if you're the referee? What part of the game are you watching? Are you watching the blue line there? In the meantime, the puck's behind the net. I mean, there was nobody else there except those two.
Yeah.
And how you don't call that? I've seen worse called. I've seen less called.
Yeah,
I've seen all called.
Agreed.
And they didn't call that one. I'm not saying it would have mattered. I don't think it would have mattered. It just was one of those games for the Rangers. We'll get into that later, but that should have been called. Plain and simple.
I don't disagree.
Now I also sent you a thing. I don't know if you saw it.
Why don't you get into that so we can transition out of Rangers hockey?
Did you see the Kucherov hit?
I did. I saw what you said.
That's not a penalty.
Oh, absolutely.
So we got the Russian thing going again. Now Ovechkin gets away with this, so Kucherov can get away with it too. That was a blatant hit from behind too, Paulie.
Hey, I've been fucking bitching all year long about how bad the officiating is and how nothing's getting done and how bad it is. At the end of the day, I don't disagree with you. I feel like
he hit Gould. I think it was Gould from the Montreal Canadiens, and it was another one of those. It was a opportunistic cheap shot, is what he did. Not a word out of the referees, not a nothing.
Right.
Wow, I'm wondering if it wasn't Kucherov, it was maybe the fourth liner that did that. Would the arm go up?
Or what about supplemental discipline?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
George Paris was taking a nap then. Must have been taking a nap.
Rempe gets the chicken wing for fucking games.
Exactly.
Inside a hockey play, whatever. And then you got this. You got this where blatant, I don't even see the guy coming, got no idea he's coming.
We can't have that happen though, Paulie, where they suspend him for a game or two, especially this late, in the playoff chase. Can't happen. Especially because of the player that he is in the league, leading the league in scoring.
The owners are going to have a serious meeting, and there's another thing I want to talk about after this because
you know would be really, really. I know this would probably happen if we could go back 30, 40 years. Okay, 40 years or so. That the mentality we had back then is if somebody did that to us and we weren't severely hurt, some guys would have just chopped his head right there. Then what would the league do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But today they let certain players, and I've been saying this for a year. Yes, I'll admit it. Sidney Crosby gets away with it, but
they all get away with it.
They've been getting away with it for every year in the NHL's history. The Stars get away with stuff, and it ain't right. It ain't. To me, it's not right. It's never been right.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree.
Like Kucherov deserved a 5-minute major there and a game misconduct, as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed.
And maybe not a suspension because it might have been his first offense. Probably not his first offense, but the first one he got caught on.
Right.
Anyhow.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. The officiating this year has been terrible. The rules are different for different players at different times. I think they threw the rule book at Matt Rempe because why? Because he's a young kid who's fighting, and he's almost 6'9". And then like you said, on the other side of that, you got other players that, God forbid, we call them for anything, and then could you imagine if he got a game misconduct and then there was a review?
Oh.
There's no further review needed or whatever the case may be. I have talked about this all year long. The officiating is the worst I've seen since I remember watching hockey, man.
Well, you're absolutely correct because the NHL once again decided to soften the game up. Little tap on the stick, a penalty. A little grab here, that's a penalty. A little this here, it's a penalty. But when you see something that's egregious like Kucherov, no penalty?
Right.
Where's the balance here?
And have you noticed, I've noticed this, and I don't know if the other fans have. Have you noticed that the obstruction interference?
Oh, it's gone away.
The call's gone away, but I've noticed it more than ever before. A guy dumps the puck and he goes to get it. It used to be when they had the obstruction call, you can't impede his progress to the fucking ball.
It was automatic when they first put it in.
Exactly. Now it disappeared. It dissipated. Now guys are picking all the time and obstructing and interfering all the time on dumpings, on fucking passes, on a bunch of shit, man. And it's like, again, the NHL makes these rules, then they back out of them, and then they call them, and then they back out of them. It's terrible. It's terrible.
It is. I just, it's one of those. But there's always been a little bit of leeway given to the superstars, but when you basically told your fans to pay the hard-earned money that you're going to make these calls to hits from behind, you better make them. Okay?
Yeah.
Because then if you don't, then you're going to have the fans of the team that got screwed all confused about, what's the rule?
Yeah.
And why isn't it called when it should be? Or why are you calling it now when you didn't call it then?
Right.
It's all messed up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back to that Jersey game though, where the 5-on-5. To me, I enjoyed that. I know a lot of people didn't like that. They think fighting, blah blah blah, stage fighting. That was a way of the players policing what happened previous games. That's exactly what happened there, folks. Rempe was smart, didn't go after McDermott the first time. He knew he had to face the facts sooner or later. Well, here it was, okay? The league had nothing to do with that. Let those guys do it. Let them dance. Let them do what they want. Now I guarantee you McDermott's not going to say as much bad shit about Rempe. And I think they have a mutual feeling about it now, okay? Let the players police themselves when dirty shit in your mind happens.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Because the NHL obviously is not doing a good enough job with their policing.
Yeah, they suck. Actually, you're very much correct, too. McDermott's interview after the game was very respectful towards Rempe. Very respectful.
He was angry the first time because he wouldn't drop his gloves, and he called him that. But eventually players will police themselves, and it'll work out themselves from now, when you let them do it.
Now, I didn't know this year must be the year because I didn't know about the fucking rule that you can't have more than one fight.
I knew that.
I knew that.
Yeah, I knew that. As soon as VC and Lazar started going, I knew right away anything after that's going to be. You're
when did they fucking implement that last year?
I just knew it from throughout the season. That's what they were always talking about on TV. If something happens afterwards.
That's ridiculous, man.
Well, it kind of screwed both teams. It took two defensemen off of their team. It took two defensemen off
that is a blatant show of how much they're trying to pull fighting out of the game.
But they're trying, but look what happened, Paulie.
Everybody loves it.
There were 6 fights in the first period.
Everybody loves it.
Exactly.
The fans love it.
Listen, I don't want it to go back to like the days when I played.
I get it.
We were a little barbaric. I'll admit it. It was a little stupid, but that's the way we were taught. So that's the way it was. But every now and then, it's okay for two guys to square off because one guy thinks that the other guy did something to a player on his team, blah, 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 instead of waiting for some clown, 80 stories up in Manhattan is going to go, well, I think that was a bad move, and we're going to suspend you for 2 games. Like, go fuck yourselves. Let these guys play. Let them be a part of what the game of hockey is all about. Yes, fighting is always going to be a part of hockey. No matter what they try, there will still be drop gloves once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That one. What's next?
Well, I'll tell you what's next.
You want to do the poll? Let's do the poll.
Hold on. I got one. I got one I want to bring up. So there has been a lot of scuttlebutt, a lot of conversation about the playoff formats.
Oh,
the fans, the players, the teams.
I'm still a little confused on it, so I hope you got it down.
Yeah, it's actually a lot easier than you think. What sucks is the point of we were talking prior to. So let's say that the playoffs started today. The Rangers are the number 1 seed, right? They have the number 1 points in. Yeah. And then what happens is they're number 1, and then number 2 is in the other division. So it's the Metro and the Atlantic. So the number 2 currently would be Boston, right?
Yeah.
So Boston would have to play Tampa Bay, right? Now, Tampa Bay's got more points than, let's say, the Islanders make it in, or, the 3rd seed in the Metro. So back when we liked a different format, when it was 1 versus 8,
Yeah.
now it's like, wait a minute. Boston played great all year long. They come in 2nd place, whatever you want. They break 100-point mark. They got 50 wins, and they got to play a seed or a seeded team that is ranked actually pretty high when it comes to points and wins. And they're like, it shouldn't work this way. They should, the Rangers should play, number 1 should play number 8, and number 2, which would have been Boston in this case, should play number 7. That's not the case.
No, I know that's the peculiar part about it that I still don't get, because I think last year, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're talking about was the Leafs and Tampa playing in the first round. And it shouldn't have been that way.
Well,
according to the standings.
Well, right. According to the points and standings, right. Yes. But to this playoff, it's very simple. This playoff mat is very simple.
So right now it's Washington and 8, Rangers number 1. Number 2, it would be Boston.
Right. But they would play the wild card in Tampa. That's the problem. Right? Because if you look, like let's say the Islanders get in, right? They have less points than Tampa.
No, I know, but they're 3rd in their division. Right.
So they would play, so they play 2 in the other division. 3s and 2s play each other.
That's not right.
It's stupid. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And I don't understand, after several years now of this format, why it hasn't been fixed, because nobody likes it. Nobody likes it.
Who would Carolina play then?
I'd have to look at it.
Would it be Florida right off the bat?
Let me look at it. I'll tell you. Hold on. Give me it. I'm going to look at it.
Come on, Beth. Let us know.
So if it started today, the Rangers would play Washington.
Okay.
Boston would play Tampa.
Okay.
Toronto would play Carolina.
Okay.
And Florida would play the New York Islanders.
So Florida gets a gift.
Yeah. And that's what they're saying.
I'm not really sure it's a gift anymore, but I just threw that in there.
That's the whole point, because Boston should play the next lowest seed, and that would be the Islanders, and that's not the case. They would have to play Tampa, who has been hot and running. They're at 95 points. They have almost 10 more points than the Islanders.
Well, it's not really, beyond the NHL for always doing something irregular with some of their rules. So there you go.
Fucking Dumb and Dumber.
I mean, we still have that rule where 1/3 of your ice has one rule only, and now you're gonna tell me that because I got less points, but I'm ahead of a team that's got 20 more points than me. You know what I mean?
It's ridiculous.
In the seeding, no, it should be 1 and 8, 2 and 7.
Right. Exactly.
It should be that. That's what you're. I don't even know if these players know that. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, because there's such a jockeying between the 7th and 8th spot right now. There's 5 teams that are involved still.
Right.
You think they actually know what they're getting into if they get in? They don't know. They just think that they're going to play the top seed.
Right. Yeah, it's really ridiculous. And the other thing I wanted to bring up before we got into Rangers and stuff was, because it's been heavy on my mind, and I didn't bring it up in the last show, and I wanted to. Kelsey, like I said, you and I have been doing a show for 14 years.
Yeah.
I think actually we're running into 16 or 17 years. And I remember talking about this.
Well, we did take a year or 2 off, remember?
Yes. Well, that's why, yes. So 2 years we took off. I will say this. I remember many years ago I spoke about this, how the NHL slowly started to change rules. And we talked about every year there was a new rule. Every year there's a new rule. Every year is a new rule. There are so many little subtle new rules in the last 4 seasons that people probably don't even know anymore. You know, when you played, right? When you played hockey, the home team didn't matter, but the away team always on a face-off had to put their stick down first. Am I correct? It's totally changed. In an icing,
you have to actually touch the puck. Get an icing call. And a possibility of going through the boards.
Exactly. And in icing, well, that's one of them. In an icing now, it's reverse. The team that committed the icing foul has to put their stick down. That's why you see a lot of guys get thrown out of the face-off dot.
Well, I think that's a lot of bullshit too. That's the linesman not controlling it properly.
Yeah. Just fucking, hey, guys, line up and drop the goddamn.
What happened in last night's game? They dropped the puck and the guy wasn't ready for the Islanders. Remember?
Yeah,
and then the linesman just backed up like, oh, what the fuck, you know? I mean, just there's too much of that shit.
There's so many little subtle fucking rules now, all of a sudden, and people, they don't know. And I honestly, you know, they're trying to, I think what they were trying to do with this is take away the home team's advantages that they used to once have. The only thing that they have now is the last chain. That's the only thing you have. There's no more advantage in the face-off dot other than, you know, a couple of spots here and there. If you ice the puck, if you commit a penalty, again, if you're the team that's penalized, you put your stick down on the ice first. Anytime you're penalized, it used to always be the home team, the away team's got to put the stick down first. That's it.
And how's it working?
I don't know. You know, it's just fucking stupid shit all the way around.
You know what it is? You know, I don't want to say everybody's like that, but anybody and everybody that works on the rules committee, you know, they go to their Palm Beach or wherever it is every year and they talk it out. I'm wondering if all these guys have their little Einstein moment. They're like, I want to put my label on the NHL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I was the one that did that. You know, somebody will look up, when did that rule start? Well, that was 112 years ago, and Joe Blow put that in.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's, you know, a little Napoleon complex. They got to get their little. Look, the game is still a simple game. Skate, shoot, score. Okay? That's what it is.
It's just complicated as hell.
You know, and we're gonna, you know, like I get tired of watching the guys get thrown out of the face-off when I'm watching on
TV. It's awful.
It's almost like watching a pitcher shake off a count in baseball.
Drop the fucking puck.
They want to speed the game up. That's what you ever know. Like they did a lot of this stuff to speed the game up too.
Yeah,
I gotta wonder if you take all the time to see how many times they throw people out on the average in a game, how much time they've wasted there.
Yeah. No. I get it.
You know, we're not in charge, unfortunately, Paulie. You know,
God Almighty,
we're not in charge. We're not in charge.
All right. Well, that was my last little rant. Other than
okay, let's do the little. You still got your thing on the phone here about the players' poll? Then we'll get.
It's 9:15, but okay.
We got time. We got time to go through real quick. You start it off for us, and we'll make our little snide remarks on it. Okay. Well, I know you're gonna, and I'm gonna, so it doesn't matter.
Well. Kazi wanted us to do this, so I'll do it.
Yeah, the players' poll. Come on, it's a biggie.
It makes me sick, but
there's 694 players took this poll, by the way.
Crosby of the Penguins is voted most complete player in the NHLPA.
Can I hear you say that again?
No. Oh, yeah, I said Ovechkin has 30 goals for 18 straight seasons.
I can't hear you. I got two fingers.
The only player in NHL history to do so.
And nobody's going to care in the end. So go ahead.
So anyway.
So the polls.
So here it is, the Players
Number
Association.
one was the most complete player in the league. The players voted unanimously, Sidney Crosby.
Here you got Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, Kel McCarr, and Andre Vasilevsky were the top fours. So here it is. Crosby was voted the most complete player in the NHL for the 5th consecutive season, getting 38, almost 39% of the vote. The Penguins captain beat Florida center Andre Alexander Barkov out by he had almost 15%. And Anze Kopitar, which is very surprising to me.
Well, it's not to me because Anze Kopitar has never been a guy that's going to get 100 points a year, but he's always going to get 75, whatever.
Yeah.
But he's played both ends of the ice, Paulie.
And then finally, McDavid came in just under 8%.
Yeah.
Let's see. We don't need to talk about that. The poll surveyed 639 NHL players on 15 related questions. McDavid was picked as the forward you would want on your team if you needed to win one game with 48, almost 49%. Crosby came in second, which is crazy at only 11.5%.
I would reverse that because one's won a Stanley Cup and the other hasn't yet. I would.
And then Nathan McKinnon came in at just under 6.5, almost 6.6%.
He's won a Stanley Cup too. So
McCarr of the Colorado Avalanche was voted the defenseman you'd want in a must-win game. 56.3%. Victor Hedman came in second at only 10.5%. And then Roman Josi came in at 4.5%. Kel McCarr was voted the best breakout passer at 27% almost. And Vasilevsky of the Lightning was selected by the players as the goalie they'd go to in a must-win game for the 3rd consecutive season. So
I agree with that. I don't disagree with that one.
He got almost 47% of the votes, followed by Igor Shesterkin, who got 6.5%, and then Ilya Sorokin at 6.1%. And for the 3rd straight season, Boston's forward Brad Marchand was named the player others least enjoyed competing against, but would want on their team at 29%. The other was Connor McDavid at almost 18%.
I think there's two different thoughts on that though. The people voting for Marchand are voting because they can't stand the guy, period. Okay. And McDavid is because they don't want to play against him.
Exactly. They don't want to be embarrassed by him. And the last part of this, Bruins forward Pasternak was selected as the most stylish, 15%.
What does that mean?
Is it clothing wise?
I don't know. I think it's about his dipsy doodling and all that stuff there.
It just said stylish, and that's it.
So the guy that scored 30 goals 18 times with the record in the NHL, not a vote anywhere, huh?
No votes in here, man.
Sweep. All right, big boy, your turn now. You want to get into Ranger hockey? Let's get into it.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. I tell you though.
Got lots of time left. We still got 11 minutes. Let's go.
I gotta take a piss, man. I gotta pee.
There you go, folks. Anybody who's listening here, go ahead.
So you lead off.
I'm going to wait till you get back. We're just going to sit here. What do you think of that? As you can tell, there's nobody in that chair over there. Mr. Paulie D, a.k.a. Paulie Scaglione, has to go see the men's room because he's got old man's disease. No, he's not drinking tonight, so it's old man's disease. When you got to go, you got to go. That's all there is to it. What can I tell you? We were going to get into the New York Rangers stuff here, but I got to wait till he gets back from the men's room.
The chat room's been quiet.
Yeah, well, you know.
All right. Well,
we filled in for you. I was just talking about how you got old man's disease. You're not really drinking tonight, but when the old man's disease hits in and you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah, whatever.
Soon after he becomes a movie star, he's going to be like Sylvester Stallone with the dyed hair, black. You know, he'll be 75 years old, but his hair will be pitch black.
Let's talk Rangers, man. Yeah. I mean, let's start with obviously this. All right. You want to start with the? We'll start with the game last night and go backwards. I think
you played like shit for a period. Let's call it.
Here's my concern. I said to you before the game, before we talked. My thing is the Rangers statistic is alarming to me. It's exciting for some, I guess, but it's alarming to me. You understand that the Rangers are number one in comebacks. That's great, but you look at a game like last night. You know, same thing in the Stadium Series game that I didn't go to that I should have been to. You know, you can't continue to just not show up and be prepared to play hockey and continually expect to win. I mean, it's great that you have that tool in your toolbox, but it's like, you know, you can't build a house with just a hammer. You know, you need a saw, you need a level, and you need a hammer. You need nails. You need a rule. You need a bunch of different tools. That seems to be the only fucking tool we use. And I think it's now 27 come from behind victories. It's a great statistic, but at the end of the day, man, you can't keep starting games down 2-0, 3-0. It's not a good formula, Kotz. It concerns me.
Well, there's two ways to look at it. How many other teams in the league went down 2-0, 3-0, and never came back this year?
A lot.
I'd like to know their numbers. What their comeback wins were. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You can't have it both ways. Yeah, I'm concerned about it. This much, I'll admit it, I'm concerned. But I don't think I'm concerned like you are, because once the playoffs start, like I told you earlier in the show, you take Artemi Panarin's 116 points, you throw them in the garbage. Doesn't matter what you did now. It's playoffs. And you're going to play a team, and you're going to play a best of 7. And you're not going to have slow starts for all first 4 games or 7 games or 6 games or 5 games or what you're going to start. I don't think that's going to be a major problem once the playoffs start, to be honest with you, because you're playing the same team over and over and over again.
Right.
This happens throughout the NHL. I would like to see the stats on other teams this year. You know, when they were down by 2 after a first period, or down by anything in the first period, or how many teams came back to win after being down by 1 going in the third. That means to me you suck. You can't come back. So the Rangers have the ability to come back. That's not a problem to me. It's not a big problem. I'm a little concerned, but not like you are. So, Paulie, they came back and did it. That's not a fluke. If you came back, like, look at it this way. If they only came back, like, say, 5 times this year and lost the other 23, you'd be in last place.
Sure.
And nobody would be saying anything. Well, you know, they should have lost. They were down going into the third. So if you have that ability, you have that ability. You know, I agree. I don't like slow starts, but I'm not. If this is how they're going to do it, then this is how they're going to do it. I mean,
well,
I don't think the starts have been as slow this year as they were in the previous years. They were pretty slow in the previous years.
They lost last night's game in the first period. Game was over.
If you looked at my Facebook page, what did I say? It was the worst first period of the year.
And they lost the game because of it. So, at the end of the day, you can't be looking for calls.
And there's 16-4-1 or something like that over their last 20-something games.
Yes, they're great. Listen, they're winning hockey games. I get it, and I love it. And it's great to have that tool in your pocket to have the ability to come back. My issue is that it seems like it's more often than not, and it concerns me. I'm just telling you, it just concerns me with when you start hitting the dynamic teams, when you start playing fucking Toronto and Tampa Bay and fucking Florida, it's going to be different than playing the Flyers and the Islanders and the fucking other teams that are just.
But they've beaten all those teams you talked about.
I get it, but it's
beaten them all this year.
It's going to be different in the playoffs. We all know.
Exactly, and you're going to be focused on one team only at a time. You're not going to worry about, okay, who do we play after this game? Oh, we just got back from a road trip. Jeez, we're going to have a slow start on Monday. They're going to be well prepared for this stuff. I'm not concerned about it. I'm really not. Once the playoffs starts, I'm not.
Okay.
Just not. I don't see it. I don't see that happening.
Are you surprised I don't think I think I know your answer, but I'm not going to give it away because I think we've talked about this before. Are you surprised with the limited ice time that we're seeing Matt Rempe get?
No.
You're not? Are you surprised that he didn't play last night?
I told you I was in between on that one. I didn't see that the Islanders were going to come out and roughhouse the Rangers. They play hard. They do hit, but they don't roughhouse the Rangers. I think the fact that Roslovic sat out a game and got put back in the lineup, it was one of those ones there by Coach Lavalette. No, I wasn't concerned at all last night. I think with Rempe does provide a little electric boost to them when he plays. There's no question about it, okay? But we're also talking about a guy that's only getting maybe 5 minutes a period when he does play. 5 minutes a game. So I'm glad he's on the New York Rangers. I'm happy he's on the Rangers. I think the players are happy he's up there. But I think he needs more time at working at his ability, skating, passing, all that stuff there for him to put a real impact in. Because you look at a guy like Wilson in Washington, he didn't get a lot of ice time his first couple of years. Turned into a 25-goal scorer because he worked on his game. Mind you, he settled the business with everybody throughout the league that gave himself some room. So Rempe's going to get the room. I'm not concerned about it, no. Do I think he should play in some of the playoff games? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think they should go every game without him. Yeah. I think he's a nice way of putting it is when he's on the ice, I know how those other 6 defensemen feel on the other team. They know he's on the ice. They know that he's going to follow through with a hit. Where most guys do a drive-by, he doesn't. He goes into you.
Right.
I don't care who you are, what era, what league you play in. As a defenseman, you're always looking for that guy. Yeah. So it might take away from your passing ability. You might give up the puck quicker. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
You think he plays in the game Saturday against the Islanders?
Probably. I do.
Because of what?
You know what? It all depends on what happens with the next game with Uncle Vinny.
Ah.
Well, it don't. We're talking points here. I'm not talking about Uncle Vinny's how shit they are, the Flyers. I'm talking about right now. They're still not guaranteed number 1 overall.
Sure, I know. I get it.
They've got to win at least 2 more games and really they might have to win 3 out of the 4.
Yeah.
You know
yeah, I agree. I agree.
So if they win Thursday, you might see them on Friday.
Yeah. Will they play him against the Flyers?
It depends if Delory is in the lineup. You got to remember, the visiting team always has to put their lineup in first.
I know.
So that's another thing that everybody got excited about when they had the 5-on-5 brawl. That Oh, I hate that when they have stage fights. Well, the fuck did you want Lavalette to do? They put their lineup in. They put McDermott at fucking left wing to start the game. So he obliged them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You
I'm
said
not concerned about his time on the ice. But I am okay. Now that we're going to talk Rangers, I'm concerned about Roslovich. I don't think he's done very well.
I was just going to ask you.
I
thought the benching was good. I thought it was a good benching, but
he's a good skater and he looks like he can handle a puck. But the production's just not there.
Yeah,
I
don't disagree. So that trade,
Wenberg's actually okay, but I'd like to see a little more offense out of him too. But he does handle the puck pretty good. He does kill penalties. He does a lot of stuff that nobody wants to do. But I'd still like to see a little more production from those two guys. I'm not sure you're going to get it.
I was going to address it with you. I mean, we spoke about it. The trade deadline. We were concerned that whether needs actually filled. Hey, listen, Chris Kreider is going to be, the most scoring Ranger and all this fun stuff. That's all,
he's going to be the Alex Ovechkin of the New York Rangers when it's all said and done.
So, with that being said,
he's going to own all the power play records. I don't know if he might be able to catch all-time goal scorer Rod.
More importantly, my point here is obviously we know Chris Kreider can deflect the puck on the power play, but Roslovic's play and being on that line was a major concern going in from the line for us, and obviously I think the New York Rangers. The benching I thought was a good idea by Laviolette, and I'll tell you what, I mean, I kept saying I really like Jimmy Vesey's game. I like Jimmy Vesey's game. And he never really got a solid chance to play there for a month, 10, 12 games to see what he could do. But it's that bottom six, and I said this, I put it in a post. I've been reading articles. I've been doing the research. It's that bottom six. It's the Capo, the Wenberg, the Cooley, the VC, the Johnny Goodrow. Not Johnny Goodrow. Barclay Goodrow. Those chip-in goals are going to be so important in the playoffs, man.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? They've played well the last 2 or 3 games.
They've been fabulous.
So, yeah, it's always important to get some kind of a pitch-in offense from those guys when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's the guys that usually you don't think of that help out teams to win Stanley Cups, Paulie.
Right.
It usually happens with every team. Yeah, sure, your stars have got to be your stars, but there's got to be a guy that steps up his game from average.
Yeah.
To just way above average.
So I was going to ask, do you think it would be a good idea to bring VC back up to the first line because he is playing like a man possessed? He does have skill. He's good with the puck. He's not afraid to go in the corner. He wins puck battles. And drop Roslovic down where his speed and his skill might be something that other teams won't be able to oblige when it comes to their third and fourth lines.
You know what? I have no idea how it's going to work because, as you've seen, he benched Roslovic, for a game. He also benched Gustafsson for a game, the defenseman. So I think he's still trying to tweak the bottom 4 and getting that one guy to move up, whether it's going to be VC or Roslovic, I don't know. Same thing on defense now. Is it going to be Zach or is it going to be Gustafsson? Who's played better the last month or so? I still go by this. The numbers still look good on Kreider. They look decent on Zibanejad, but I still don't think they're playing up to what they can play.
5-on-5 guys.
Yeah, they got to be a little bit better 5-on-5. They have to. They have to, because if I'm playing the New York Rangers in the playoffs right now, I know what I'm doing is I'm playing a defenseman. If I'm a defenseman playing against the Rangers now, and I was being used the way I was used in the short playoffs that I played in my career, I'd be all over Panarin. All over. I'd be hacking, slashing that guy, busting his chops, doing everything. Because I got to keep him from doing what he does. Because I'm not worried about the other guys.
Right.
Now, if I got to worry about, 1A, 1B, and 1C,
it's different.
Not easy. It's not easy to play against that.
Right.
But
Well,
when you got one guy that's basically carrying the load, it's not that hard to stop.
Yeah. Well, you got to think that teams are going to try to shut down that line.
Oh, they're going to.
So if you nullify that line, and I've been trying to talk about this, the Mika line has got to pick it up 5-on-5, and then the bottom six are going to have
to be better than their bottom six and create a little bit of hole. I'm not saying they have to carry the load, but if it's a 4-2 game, they score a goal, make one of the four. That's what you're going to need out of the bottom six.
Yep.
And maybe you'll get two out of them, one game. Maybe you'll get zero out of them for the next two games. But they got to be better than the third line and fourth line of the other team.
Right, exactly.
And then right now, they played pretty good. The bottom six guys have been playing pretty good.
I like Capo shooting the puck in every opportunity. He's not even looking anymore. He's just shooting. And I like it. Huh?
You have to shoot to score.
Yeah, and I like it. He's not looking for the pretty passes as much as he used to.
You can't keep spinning and deking and diving and all that stuff. That's not going to score for you.
Shoot the puck.
Got to shoot. That's all there is to it. I think Trouba right now, let's get to Trouba. I don't think he's up to par yet.
Me neither.
He looks a little
he looks definitely agree with you all the way.
He doesn't look 100% since he's been back. No,
he doesn't. It looks like the game is faster than him right now.
Yeah.
He's a step behind. There's no doubt in my mind. He's a step behind. There's no doubt in my mind. And I got to tell you that I have been very impressed with Keandre Miller. And Schneider's picked up his game too.
They got put on a spot there with Trouba. They had no choice.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be prodded. I hate that you have to do that to a player. And you should take that upon yourself to understand that the team needs more out of me. You know what I mean? But they got put into it. Hey, listen, Trouba's out. Get your ass in there.
Yeah.
Fox is out. Get going.
Well, I will say that I feel very good about our depth on defense. I like Ruedel. He's not horrible. He's a good
Ruedel played really good. He played.
Yeah,
I thought he played pretty good. He was also put in a tough spot.
And Zach, I tell you, Zach Jones has impressed me too. He's speedy. He's very smart. He's smarter with the puck than I had.
He's a good puck handler, good skater, and he's actually very smart too.
Yeah, it makes good decisions. Absolutely.
The only problem is he can't handle the rough work along the board.
Physicals. Yeah, the physicals.
He's not strong enough. It's like Fox. Neither one of them is really good along the boards.
No.
They don't have the strength. They don't have the size.
Yeah. And your boy Lindry got hurt again last night. He did come back. It's gonna be tough to see. It was crazy because I saw him get hurt. Kind of got hurt. Took the slap shot to the chest. Zibanejad looked like he got hurt. Here's the thing. The thing with Zibanejad is he is so important to this hockey team. It's ridiculous. He's so gifted. He plays in every situation. He's very, very good defensively. He back checks. He forward checks. He's good. He's fantastic with this team really needs him. I just wish they could have found someone that would help him propel his game in the scoring aspect because he's still not looking to shoot the puck, man. And I don't know why.
I don't, he's just a little bit off. He's been a little bit off all year.
Yeah.
A little bit off. I don't think he's playing to his full potential. I've said that many times.
But he's still great.
He still works his ass off out there.
He's still awesome.
I'd like to see him like maybe fake that one-timer once in a while on a power play, because everybody in the league knows you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Little fake.
Yeah.
Maybe hit the net a little bit more instead of missing the net on that.
I would like to see, if I had a wish, I had to rub the magic genie right now, I would fucking wish that Chris Kreider would play a complete game. If this guy actually forechecks somebody, and you know what? Here's the thing. I will say this. When Zibanejad got hurt last night, Chris played with a little bit more of an edge.
He did.
That's his guy, man. That's his boy.
And I saw that.
He played fucking angry, and that's what I want to see him do. He played angry. He played more of an edge. He threw his body. He was ready to grab somebody. This is what this team needs out of Kreider, and I don't get it. How he don't get it?
It's beyond me. It is. It's beyond me. We've talked about it. It would be so much more fruitful for the team if Kreider would throw at least 3 or 4 hard body checks a game.
Amen.
And the opportunity is always there. It's always there, but he doesn't skate by.
He doesn't drive by.
He doesn't drive by. Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't get it. It drives me.
Getting hit over and over again is something a defenseman does not like.
Yeah. Coming from a defenseman.
We don't like it. Never have, never will.
Yeah.
And that defenseman gets hit over and over again means the radar is up. Cooley's on the ice. I know he's going to hit me when he gets a chance. Rempe's on the ice. I know he's going to hit me when he gets a chance. Kreider's on the ice. He ain't going to hit me, so I don't have to worry about him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's crazy. He's a North American kid.
It doesn't have to fight. There's no fighting involved.
No.
Just hit somebody.
No. I just want him to play with a little more of an edge, like you said. Get in the corners. Make sure they feel that 232 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck.
He would be an obliterating force if he really wanted to hit somebody.
He could be a modern day, Keith Kachuk, fucking Brendan Shanahan. He could be the modern day power forward. He's still listed as a power forward.
Kreider would be even heavier a hitter than those two.
Yeah, because he's a big body guy.
Yeah, I agree, but what can I tell you?
I just don't get how we get it, but he don't get it.
Getting up there in age, Paulie, it's one of those things.
Well, I mean, I hope to see this guy give everything he has during the playoffs. I hope he changes his game that much because that's all he needs to do. He's doing, obviously he could do magical things on the power play, standing in front because he's not getting cross-checked. He doesn't really have to pay the price. All he's got to do is stand there and deflect pucks, and he does a great job. He's got 39 goals. I think 20 of them are on the fucking power play, right? Or 20.
Somebody has to do it.
25 are on the power play. So the guy can do it. Now, if on 5-on-5, if he would just throw a body check here and there and let the team know and do some grinding in the corners, man.
No, I agree. You and I, we've been beating this for a couple of years now.
I just, his the current way that he plays, though, it's not beneficial in the playoffs, so it concerns me.
We'll see. We'll see if anything changes once the playoffs start. But right now, I think if you're the Rangers, you got to lock that number 1 spot up. You got to be concerned about that. Now you got how many games left? They play Philly. They play the Islanders. And who else do they play?
I think they play Montreal. No.
No.
Here, I'll tell you right now.
They got to get that number one spot.
And the chat room, very disappointed in the chat room tonight.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
He's a little
Very quiet back there.
very quiet out there today.
Look at Paulie come before the storm. Fucking Ryback loves to break my balls. So it's Flyers, Islanders, and Senators.
And that's it?
Flyers, Islanders, Senators, and they're done. Yep.
3 games left. They got a 3-point lead. They're going to have to win probably 2 out of the 3.
Yep.
Unless Carolina loses one, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I want them to win first place overall. I want them to win the President's Trophy, but Dallas is 2 points behind, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I think they're
I don't care about the President's Trophy. I want them to be number 1 seed in the playoffs in the East. That's all.
Yes.
That's all I care.
Agreed. Because I don't want them to play 10.
That's all I care. That way there you got home ice. You got home ice. You got home ice. That's the key.
Agreed.
All right, you're breaking up, Paul. You're breaking up now all of a sudden. I guess as soon as Ryback gets on, look what happens.
Yeah. It's funny because you're breaking up to me. Well, I think that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, and we'll have to figure out a date next week and not go 2 weeks without doing a show.
Yeah.
That was on me. It was on both of us. I had something to do on Monday, and Rangers played every other night, and you had to do your stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going away this weekend, and
Yeah.
I will be back. I won't be back until Monday night. Watch that final game, and we'll have to go from there. Probably do Tuesday or Wednesday next week if that works for you.
Yeah, and I'm going to be away from the 19th to the 26th. That's playoff hockey time.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to be away. We're going to North Carolina.
Yeah, I got a business trip in May, so.
You mean one of them fake business trips?
I got a business trip in May.
Where you guys go in? You guys go into the room on the side
I'll
of the
I'll be in Nashville. I'll be in Nashville. When I'm in Nashville in May, I'm going to tell you right now, man.
Are you going to put your cowboy boots on and get your 20-gallon hat on or something like that?
If the Predators are in it when I'm there, I'm going, man.
They're in it. Nashville clinched.
No, but I know. But in May, we don't know that they'll be playing in May.
True.
We got all of April here. Let's see what happens. So, May 15th. So that's
Bitch Nettie.
All right, we good?
We're good.
We'll see you guys next week for sure. Anywhere from Tuesday to Wednesday, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Other than that, let's go Rangers. Let's go Matt Rempe. I love when the Ranger fans scream his name. I think you're going to see him against the Islanders. I think there's going to be a little payback. But
you might see him against the Flyers too, because if the Delory wasn't in the lineup the last time they played in Philly.
Yeah.
So Rempe didn't play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it depends. It depends on who's in the lineup.
No, I get it. Yeah.
And I don't know if your boy Tort's Uncle Vinny will put him in the lineup. They need a win.
Well, Torch is a spiteful prick. So
Yeah. You know what he's got though? He's got one of these that I don't have. He's got a rig. I don't.
I know. Yeah, he had a total meltdown. He's just so spiteful, man. Anyway,
All righty. We're out.
everyone. We'll see you next week. Good night. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go Rangers.
Yes.